Good morning, IED students. So this week you are going to be continuing in the VEX VR activities. You are going to be completing lab activity number 3, 4, and then the letter maze activity. This should break down to about 2 hours of work over the week. I'm going to walk you through the activity guide and how we've set it up for you, as well as the individual worksheets for this assignment to make sure that you understand everything that's going on. For the submissions this week, you're again going to have a total of 6 attachments, 3 of them worksheets, 3 of them programs. You need to make sure those screenshots are inside of the worksheets. I'm going to go over that in a little bit more detail as we go through. So let's take a look. All right, everyone. So let's walk through the activity guide for week 2 of our VEX VR activities. You will also see the worksheets that you are to complete as we go through this segment. So make sure you follow along, and that way you have a good understanding of where we're headed for the week. So again, this is week 2 of 3. This is our May-June overlap, and you're going to be again in that VEX VR environment. So the assignments are getting posted today on 6/1. You then have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and of course Friday to complete these assignments, and they are due by 11:59 on Friday. Now, the way we anticipate you breaking down the work this week is that there's about 2 hours of work. Problem 3 should take you about 30 minutes, problem 4 about 30 minutes, and then the letter maze is probably going to take you about an hour to program. Here's just a suggestion of how you could break down your week. Monday, all assignments are going to be posted by 12 p.m. So on Monday, you should review all the videos and assignments once they're posted. Then Tuesday, you're going to complete problem 3. Wednesday, problem 4. Thursday, you can complete the number maze activity. And then Friday, wrap up any unfinished assignments, double check your submissions, make sure you have everything we're asking for, and turn in those assignments. So this is a really tidy breakdown this week where you have 1 assignment per day on that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday is just a wrap up. So let's stop and take a look at the actual individual activities that we're going to be doing this week. First up is problem 3. Problem 3 asks you to open the worksheet in Classroom and answer the questions. You're going to add a screenshot of your code in the playground to the document demonstrating the finished program. That means you need to use the pen tool and you need to use blue or black ink. We had a serious issue with some lime green ink or lack of pen tool last week, and we were unable to see the path easily. My eyes and Mr. Kapersky's eyes are not as young as yours. The lime green does not cut it for us. So you need to make sure that you're using blue or black ink, and then you need to make sure that you are screenshotting at the finished point of the program so we can clearly see the path that your robot traveled. Now let's take a pause and look at the worksheet. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at VR Robot Lab number 3. So your directions here state to go to the Wall Maze Playground. Wall Maze Playground. This time you're going to create a program that will take the robot to number 1 and then back to the starting position. Then the program should repeat for forever. So make sure that you use the pen tool so we can trace your robot path. And again, make sure you're using either black or blue ink. It's very important that you don't use the crazy lime green color because Mr. Kapersky and I really truly struggle to see that. So here we have a video of the expected movement for the VR3 example. And here's a hint for you. There is a forever loop that you can use to repeat your process. Again, make sure that you rename your program file. If I have to download your program file, and I do, then I need these all to have different names, otherwise they overlap each other. So I will not be accepting any programs, and neither will Mr. Kapersky, that do not have the appropriate name. It needs to be your last name, Lab 3. So then you have 2 questions here, and it's what were 2 challenges when building this program. You need to be specific in your challenge description, because if you provide a vague response, that will not count. Something along the lines of, I couldn't find the button, is a little too vague. Last week, I gave a lot of feedback for students, and I know Mr. Kapersky did as well, where we talked about analyzing a program and what actually constitutes an analysis and what does not. So you need to be descriptive of your 2 challenges right there. And then down below here, you need to paste in screenshots of your completed code and the completed robot path. So again, we need to have that pen tool in there so we can see the completed path. Okay, so There are two things that you need to upload as your submission. The first is the worksheet. That's where you've put the screenshot of your VEX VR area, and then your program. Remember, you have to download the program. You cannot print the program. You cannot just use your screenshot. You need to download the program to your device. The instructions on how to do that are in last week's Tech Tips video with Mr. K. So please make sure that you are adequately downloading your program and attaching it into Google Classroom. Now, in regard to the screenshots, I did a demonstration video on how to screenshot on Macs. We also have shown you how to use the snipping tool for PCs inside of the classroom. We are expecting actual screenshots, taking photos of your computer screen with your cell phone, with your iPad, whatever it is some of you are doing. It's very hard to see those and read those, and we are not going to be able to adequately grade these more complex programs with screenshots that look like that. So please make sure that you are screenshotting and not just taking photos of your computer screen. If you need additional help with that, you need to email me or Mr. Kapersky. So the next assignment is problem 4. Again, you have a worksheet in Classroom where you're going to answer those questions, add a screenshot of your code and playground to document the finished program, and you need to use the pen tool in either blue or black ink. So let's take a moment and look at that worksheet. Okay guys, so let's take a look at the VR Robot Lab number 4. So in this one, you are going to be in the wall maze playground, and you are programming the robot to move through the maze, stopping each of the numbers in order, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then traveling to finish. The VR robot should stop on each number for 2 seconds. Make sure you use the pen tool so we can trace the robot path, and you're either going to use black or blue ink. Hint, using the wait command will make sure that your robot stays over the numbered square for 2 seconds. Again, you need to make sure you're renaming your file, so last name lab 4. If you don't rename your file, we're not going to accept it. Now, this lab does not have any additional questions in it, so you just need to include your screenshots of your completed code and your completed robot path right here. So again, for submissions, we have the worksheet. Make sure you have an actual screenshot. Make sure you've included all the elements we're asking for. And then you need to, again, download your program and add it to the Google Classroom assignment in order to get full credit for this assignment. Now, the last activity that you need to do is the letter maze activity. So this is going to ask you to look at the worksheet in Classroom, and you're going to program the robot to move through the letter maze, stopping on each of the letters in alphabetical order, A, B, C, and D, and then travel to the finish. Now, your robot should stop on each letter for 2 seconds, and you're going to use blue or black ink to demonstrate the path that your robot travels. Now let's stop and take a look at the worksheet for the letter maze activity. All right, so this is your final lab worksheet for the week, and that is the letter maze. So again, you're in the wall maze playground, and you are going to program the VR robot to move through the maze, stopping on each of the letters in alphabetical order, then traveling to the finish. So the VR robot should stop on each letter for 2 seconds, and you need to again make sure that you use the pen tool to trace your robot path. And again, blue or black ink. Yet again, you need to make sure that you name your program correctly, last name letter maze, and then you need to put screenshots down here to show the completed code and your completed robot path. So again, for the letter maze activity, you need to have your worksheet and your program. I understand there's a typo on this slide. It is the letter maze activity, not the number maze activity. So you need to make sure you have the screenshot and that you've attached your program. Now, if throughout this week you are feeling confused or you have questions, feel free to email me or Mr. Kapersky or rewatch the Tech Tips video from the last week. It does have some solid information in it that could help you with this week if you are feeling a little bit confused. All right, everyone, that wraps up this week's overview. So go ahead, look through those assignments. Again, if you have questions, just let me or Mr. Kapersky know, and we'll see you guys soon.